Hello, Williamsburg Landing, and welcome to another Tai Chi Kung at Home. My name's Stan Rockwell. We're going to do something today that we've done in class maybe 2 or 3 times over the years. We're going to do it seated. So just take a moment, find yourself a chair that doesn't have arms on it because your arms are going to be swinging out to the side a little bit. The posture, the balance, the breathing, all that applies sitting or standing. I always encourage people, especially when they're driving, to pay attention to where their head is on their shoulders. If they're pulling their head up to see over the steering wheel, you're putting a lot of stress on your neck and shoulders. When you're walking, if your head is out there somewhere instead of balanced over your center, it's going to throw your balance off. It's also going to cause you some aches and pains in your neck and shoulders, your back, headaches. Just changing your posture has a really big impact on well-being. Physical pain involves emotional pain as well. Even the same parts of your brain experience both. So, if you can, you don't necessarily have to have your back up against the chair. It depends on how the chair is. Some are slanted back like that. If it's slanted back like that, you want to have your body perpendicular to the floor. If you were to drop a line through the byway, down through the middle of your body, through the perineum, you should hit the floor equally distant from a line from the outsides of your hips to the floor. Legs, knees, ankles are lined up with your hips and shoulders. Another thing you want to avoid doing, and it's hard not to, and I do it myself, but when you cross your legs, you automatically increase your blood pressure. So if you're taking your blood pressure and you have your legs crossed, your blood pressure is going to be higher than it normally would be. So have your shoulders relaxed, your head nice and balanced on your shoulders, back of your head rises, chin tucks in a little bit, moves back so it's centered over really the perineum at this point. Breathe down to your diaphragm. Make the exhale last just a little bit longer than the inhale. Just breathe at your own pace. If you sigh when you exhale, just let whatever tension is inside just flow out with that sound. If you do feel any tightness anywhere in doing a body scan, just breathe into it and let it soften. This exercise is essentially the same one we start off with each time when we're standing up. It's just adapted so that you can do it seated. Let your arms float up with your palms facing. Again, you let your arms expand and stretch out. Turn your palms towards you. As you press in, you drop the elbows. You push your head back a little bit to feel some movement in your neck. Press out. As your hands come down, you tuck your chin just a little bit. It's an inhale and an exhale and an inhale and an exhale. One more. And you come back to the center. The second for your neck, your arms float up with your palms facing once again. One hand, either one, it doesn't matter. Comes down about even with your hip with the palm towards the floor to put some bend in the wrist to activate that acupressure point. Fold the other arm over so shoulders are nice and relaxed. Palm is lined up with that third eye or that upper dantian. Moving just your head and arm, and you can really tell this when you're sitting in a chair. If anything else is moving, you come back to the center. It's an exhale and an inhale. We'll do 2 more on each side. Back to the center, just let your arms come back down. If you prefer having your hands on your thighs, that's okay. Palms down closes the shoulders in a little more, and typically, and teachers I've had said, if you're doing a meditation with your thumbs touching your fingers, when you have your palms down, that's when you're going more towards a relaxation response. When you have your arms with your palms up, it's opening the chest more, and that's more of an energizing kind of meditation. So whatever you want at this point. I'm just going to let my arms hang down. Next one for your neck, you turn your head towards the side, 70% of your range of motion, drop it across that center line, come back straight across, everything else stays nice and still. It's an inhale across the center and an exhale down. And then go the other way. One of the reasons I really like doing these seated, one, you don't have to worry so much about your balance. Two, you do pay more attention to your posture when you're seated. Let's do one more. And three, you get more of a sense of where your body is because you have the feedback from the chair against your body. So if you're turning, other than your arm, if you're turning your whole body, you get a notion of that because you can feel it on your back. Let your arms float up with your palms facing about shoulder high. Bring your hands up so your fingers are pointed straight up. Bring your arms in so your forearms and hands are touching. If that doesn't feel comfortable, just let your elbows relax out. We open the upper chest as we inhale. And exhale when we close it. One more. Your arms are back shoulder width. Just pause there, let your hands extend outwards, feel all the joints in the shoulders, elbows, wrist, fingers expand outwards, but keep some bend in your elbow. Bring your hands back towards your shoulders, but not all the way. You want to keep some softness again in your elbow. Never fully extend and hyper-extend, and never fully compress. It's an inhale back and an exhale out. And when you pause with your fingers pointed straight up for the wrist, you just tilt your hands towards and away from you. And then towards and away from each other. And then circles in one direction, circles in the other direction. Hold your fingers over, thumbs on the outside so you have those nice soft Taiji fists. Just let them come to rest by your hips. You reach out to punch as you do. You turn the arm, getting that torque. Let that arm extend out. Fingers stretch out. Curl your fingers. Pull back in. It's an exhale and an inhale. Just flex your fingers a little bit. Let them come about a little bit above belt high. So they're not laying on your thighs, but if you need to, you can just have your hands lay on your thighs during this part. But this is one, remember it's the Harvard Medical School's Taiji Anywhere, where as you inhale, visualize all the joints in your hands and fingers and wrists just expanding outwards. On the exhale, you just relax them back. So inhale. Exhale, and inhale, and exhale. One more. Again, just flex your fingers, get them nice and loose and relaxed. And hold the ball. Elbow of the upper arm is not up here. It's dropped down like this to take the pressure off your rotator cuffs. You're going to press up and down. An exhale and an inhale. Back to the center, and this particular one I really like to do sitting down because first way I knew I was doing it in a skillful way, I was seated. Because you're turning on that center axis, moving only from the hips up. So nothing from here down is going to move, and the chair is going to give you the feedback to let you know whether you're doing that or not. So you got whichever hand is on top, those hands are lined up with the hip on that side. Turn the hands around and keeping the palms facing, and you come to the other side. So you're really focusing on your back muscles. You're not moving anything from the hips down. If you do this when you're standing up, moving anything from the hips down, you're putting some pressure on your knees. So you really have to be sure you're bending your knees when you make the turn. And there are some movements where you do that, but this isn't one of them. Come back to the center, just let your arms drop down. You're going to do shoulders, and remember, if you have rotator cuff issues, you rotate your arms so your palms are facing behind you and you make the circles with your elbows. But first it's rotating your shoulders to the front, and just remember to keep breathing to your abdomen. And then just reverse. And then just relax your shoulders, arms fold up, palms face down, they turn to face up. They fold over and face diagonally downward towards you as you press down. It's an inhale and an exhale. And just relax in the center. For the hips, hands are going to go off to the side like you're pressing into a wall. If you remember when we're standing up, this is when you reach out with your foot. But for when you're seated, you just press your knee out. You get that movement in your hip. Come back, other side. It's an exhale and an inhale. Remember, if you've had any issues with your hips or any hip replacements or anything like that, just follow the parameters of whatever you were told. I've discovered over the years there are multiple types of hips and hip replacements. Sometimes they have slightly different instructions. Come back to the center for the one where you move your leg back and forth like a pendulum. We're just going to raise the knee up and down, so when your arms go back, your knee comes up, arms go forward, leg comes down. It's an inhale. And exhale. And then the same thing on the other side. Come back to the center. You have those soft fists by your hips again. For your knees, this is the one where when we're standing up, we reach out with one foot where we punch with the opposite arm, or we go into a bow stance where we punch with the opposite arm. With this one, you punch with the opposite leg, you reach out for a heel kick and back. It's an exhale and an inhale. And the second part is doing a toe kick, and just pay attention to how the muscles in your legs feel differently when you reach out with your toe versus the last one when you're reaching out with your heel. It's an exhale and an inhale. Then we do the ankle, so it's a heel and toe. And then the same thing on the other side. And then you pick a spot on the floor, touch the outside of the foot, inside of the foot, as close to the same spot as you can. And the same thing on the other side. Being very gentle with your knees and hips and ankles, you can make a circle one way. And then the other way. Same thing other side. And reverse. Come back to center. And if you want, you can do a sitting meditation to finish this off, where again you can have your hands palm up or palm down, depending on what your aim is. You can even have your arms out like this if you want to get some. I know it doesn't seem like you're doing a whole lot of upper body work, but at one of the gyms I was working at, we had a contest one day to see who could hold it the longest. It was just that kind of day. And some folks didn't last very long. In an introductory class I had, last fall, we had a visiting Chinese teacher teach. In the very first class, she had us do this standing up for half an hour. Just focus on your breathing. For however long you like. And then to balance everything out at the end, come down, inhale up, and exhale. Thank you for joining me. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay well. I'll see you next time. Take care.